Hi, guys. Welcome to the Deciding Factor podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alton.
And I'm Barbara.
And on today's show, we're going to talk about the country being divided.
No, we're not. Oh, sorry.
Oh. I guess we're going to start the show out before we do anything. No, but actually, as you know, we like to do our intros after we've made the show. So, Barb, what do you think is a good takeaway that they might see on this show?
I think
that's the takeaway. You're flustered. You have been ruffled, and you ruffled him, possibly, right?
I had a really fun time with today's show, honestly. Today can be brain candy for you if you allow it to be so. That's my takeaway.
What about you, Alton? What do you get on the takeaway for today?
I thought Andrew was great. I thought he delivered his message well. And, I just liked his attitude. And I'm not going to spoil whether I agreed with him or not. But I'm glad he was on our show. Taught Barbara a thing or two.
Yes, this is one of those episodes that you will want to see all the way through because it's a little entertaining, if I must say so. So, guys, stay tuned. Find out if you're divided. And we'll see you on this episode of the Deciding Factor podcast.
Everyday life issues broken down to help you build your own opinions on the issues that matter most. Coming to you from Austin, Texas, this is The Deciding Factor with your host, Alton Hill and John Herzog.
Hey, guys, welcome back. So, Barb, let's introduce Andrew to the gang.
Okay. Andrew Calderella, his book, The Way, is written as a solution to the problems facing our world right now. He was born in Detroit, Michigan, to parents that were fighting for the civil rights movement. He says that his life is a combination of the Rocky story, Think and Grow Rich, and the Celestine Prophecy on steroids. He has been through so many harrowing and intense situations that these stories alone could fill volumes. He's overcome dyslexia, other learning disabilities, being legally blind in one eye, and being bullied to become a school leader, athlete, and attain university degrees. He has also traveled the world, is a martial artist, a yogi. He has a really long bio. You've done a lot of things, Andrew. I just thought I'd point that out. He's also a serial entrepreneur and has run a successful strategic consulting firm for over 20 years. We're talking to him today because he is the creator of the Seventh Foundation and One Movement and the best-selling author of The Way, 7 Revolutionary Steps to Living a Meaningful Life and Making a Real Difference in the World. No pressure. That's a lot to live up to. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Andrew.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. Appreciate it. So I just want to say I actually didn't say that about myself. That was said by a bunch of press people in a room. They learned about my life. And one guy goes, hey, I don't know if you ever know Hollywood, but they're always trying to put things into shows. So they say, your life is like this, this, and this. And they use The Secret instead of the Celestine Prophecy. And I thought The Secret was kind of a joke because it only covers 2 minor points. So I kind of fought that with him, and we changed it to Celestine because it's a deeper spiritual journey.
Oh, see, nice. Honestly, I was really going to stick with the Rocky thing. And I'm like, all right, show me the black eye. Like, I want to know that you have a theme song, that you've got a whole 9 yards.
I've been in more fights than you can imagine. I mean, I can tell you stories that'll blow your mind.
But did you get a theme song? That's the important part.
Not yet. They haven't done my life story yet, so we'll see. Okay. We'll see. It's still, I just coming out. This is, my book just came out in December.
Call
so we're just a few months in here.
Call him.
There you go. So today's topic looks like it's going to be about, is our country really divided? So give us a little overview of what you're really referring to.
Sure, absolutely. First, everybody's listening, I want you to know, I know this is a complex topic. We might not cover everything here. I did a whole video on this. It's on my website, on YouTube, on Facebook. You can check it out. 7wayme, that's the number 7, WAY.me. So first, I want to say that for humanity, for all of us as Americans to truly win, all of this hate and division has got to end, okay? Our newsies and leaders keep telling us that we are divided. The truth is, from what I found, is that we're not divided, and here's the proof. The fact is, as you know, we're all seeking to fill the void within, find real solutions, and to find our special people. We all have weaknesses, yet want to learn how to compensate for them. We all know, want, and would choose the good for ourselves, our loved ones, and our world. We all are devastated or ruined when any of the foundations of our life is destroyed. These foundations are things like our health, our relationships, our finances, mind, emotions, the society around us, and everything else. We all want to be our best, live our best life, and live within a wonderful society, a flourishing world. We would all like to be appreciated and admired for something good, yet we're often overly critical of ourselves. We all have unused capacity and underdeveloped skills that we would like to turn to our advantage. We all believe that we're on the good and right side. We all think that what we believe is true and we know who to trust. We all want to stop the corrupt, the liars, and the cheats. The vast majority of us love and are fighting for our country, freedom, justice, and for democracy. No one wants to be hateful and desperate and worried, or to have a dysfunctional government, destructive businesses, corrupt politicians, broken systems, gridlock, pollution, horror, war, and all the rest of the negatives that are plaguing us and have plagued humanity throughout all of our history. We all want positive change in life, yet we do feel hemmed in by the restrictions and limitations that are placed on us by ourselves and by our society. No good book says to hate thy neighbor, to be mean, to lie, to cheat, to wrongfully oath break, to misrepresent, mislead, to embrace other human failings, vice, and sin. We are all lessened by evil, corruption, inequality, hate, injustice, desperation, and war. All of us sometimes or often doubt that we have made the right choices and wish for clarity. Truly, all good people want everybody to be their best and to live wonderful lives, as well as to live in a wonderful society and flourishing world. Now, I think that's the main argument. I could go on and talk about, the fact that we do want all these positive things and this clarity, and this is what proves that we're not divided. And I could talk about what the real problems are that are facing us. That's the thing. We're not talking about the exact same problems. So anyway, that's my
no, that's
2-3 minutes.
No, it's good. And I think, generally, I would say that I agree, and that I think that humans have, the same needs, right? But if you went and asked some people on the street, is the nation divided? You're going to find some that are going to say yes. And so, if you can just talk into a little bit more about, why they would describe that they think that the nation is divided, and what,
Sure.
how they came to that conclusion.
You just broke up there just at the end, but I think I got what you're saying. You want me to kind of get into what these guys were, why they would say that. I think this solution that we're looking for, let me just say this, all starts in the same place. There's people who are clearly being misled. There's people that have fragments of information and are looking for other pieces. They've been lied to and cheated so many times, and they're hurt and whatnot. So there are problems in our society, but it doesn't mean, I've talked to these people too, and you get down to it as far as what they want and what everybody wants, it's the same. What is being put upon us by a few leaders is to divide us so that they can gain more power, wealth, and fame. This has been used throughout time to control humanity, right? The more organized, the more unified we are, the less some people think they will have. There's a kind of a sickness of superiority that's infected humanity since the beginning of time, that some people believe that they have the right to oppress us and rule over us without any type of consideration and whatnot. Our whole struggle throughout all of humanity's history is like revolution after revolution after revolution, is to try to create a more perfect union, a better place to live for everybody, so everybody can become the best person they can be and have a wonderful society that is
I am making faces.
totally getting better and better all the time.
Where to begin?
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, you listed the proofs that we're not divided, but all of your proofs to me sound like suppositions. Because if that's true, that we all want these same things, why aren't our leaders included in the they? If we all want... Well, right, but
Well,
I'm saying
that's the whole issue with corruption, right? Well, how is it that the human beings don't always do
what is it that makes
we need everybody
leaders
to do?
more corrupt
So
than the people?
Corruption. There's
the
not
assumption that we all want our best life.
All right. How about this? Let me go back, and I'll give you the core of the solution. This will help. So, okay, in the end, all of humanity's problems and solutions, honestly, can be found in the same place. The fact is that we are all born helpless and dependent and ignorant and flawed, and therefore we need our caregivers and our society to give us a correct start if we're going to reach our full potential and live this really meaningful life. So this idea of creating a true society and a better world for everybody and for you to become your best, really what we need is a clear path that gets us all on the same page within these foundations, and then a way that we can unify and then make the changes happen. As far as why this hasn't happened in the past, well, my research has shown that we just haven't been on the same page. There are core values that I have found in core threads of what it is humanity needs to know that I put into the way. That's the only reason this was even birthed, was because of 30 years worth of research and this mission I've been on. So the idea is that all of us as human beings at our center, like you said, we all do want our the same things. Why isn't it happening is because we're not implementing the right strategies and we're not.
Why do you think that we all want the same thing? That's my question.
Well, it's the basics of humanity. It's like, do you want to be happy? Do you want to have a functional world? Do you want to be healthy and all the rest of the good
But I don't think that
pieces
that's
of your life?
given that we...
I think are you talking more deep-rooted, we are not divided, whereas it seems like on the outer shell it's possible we could be?
Okay, well, I think there's different levels here. When you're saying the country, I think that everybody I've talked to, right, left, whatever, especially the more passionate you go, they almost sound like they're the same thing. They want to stop the liars and cheats. They want to have fair elections. They want to have all this right stuff. So what is the difference? The difference is the leaders are pointing the fingers and saying, those are the cheats, right? So we as human beings, like I said, we're all born ignorant. We learn from our upbringing. So if your parents, your caregivers are telling you that this news station, these people, and these ideas are the ones that you should listen to, then that's what you are fundamentally going to believe, right? So if those people have been corrupted and are not giving you the truth or giving you partial truths or lies, then you're going to believe those lies. So the thing is, for me, as humanity, there's nobody that wants more pollution, wants their children to have a lesser life than they do, and all these things. So when you're talking about grander perspectives, the core of humanity, that's where we have to start. You can't start on the fringe. You'll never get anywhere. You got to start at the core and work your way out to solve any of these problems.
Okay, what about the theory that the media may have divided us? What's your thoughts towards that?
Absolutely. I think it's kind of, we have to get to the point where we get our news from more than just a couple billionaires deciding what we should know and how we should know it. We need one of the businesses I have, the book I wrote is honestly just the start of something much bigger. It took 30 years. I do have dyslexia and learning disabilities and whatnot. So this wasn't done out of some, flourishing writing career that I have. You know what I'm saying? It was a struggle deciphering code to bring these answers. And there seriously are threads of gold if you analyze like all the wisest among us, all the different ologies and whatnot, and you find these truths that really can set you free in a way that can really help humanity. So when I talk to right and left, the most extreme people you can, what you'll find is a virtue at the center of what they do. Forget the fringe and what they're screaming about. Go down to the center, and it's law and order, it's justice, it's respecting our money, it's all the rest of the virtues that humanity really values. And it's coming out in a twisted way because we have kind of a messed up society, man. I mean, it's coming out of a pretty dark place. So I guess
my question here, me again, sorry. It's the says who. You're making some pretty sweeping statements. Right or wrong, but you comfortably say that we want the right thing, we want better for our kids, but we're not. Who says what better is? Who defines that? Where do we get from the perspective of your book? Where does that come from? Who decides?
Sure. Well, let me start here. The first 3 steps of the way actually will get you on your true path. This is what I call the true path. So let me just start at the very beginning. You as humans, as humanity, we do know right from wrong. You know that. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to ask you a few questions. That's what I'm saying. Says everybody. Do you know clean water is better than poison water? Love is better than hate. Being a slave is not very good. Being loved is better, and all the rest. So these ideas, when you bring up a human and you look at just the traits that we have, you can go back a step and look at the human conditions under which we live to find these answers. So what I'm saying to you is innately, humans do know right from wrong and good from bad. We have kind of a way of being brought up that makes it not obviously easy to do because, we are programmed by the society in which we're raised in. But if you look at all of humanity's history, we've come so far in our development, not only of our morality, but our society and whatnot. And it's just putting all the different pieces together. So go ahead, Barbara.
Well, it's funny that we're having this. I'm enjoying that we're having this conversation now because some of my summer reading has involved philosophy. And so I've been reading a lot of G.K. Chesterton and a lot of Francis Schaeffer. And I'm trying to figure out why you say these are revolutionary steps. This is cut and dry humanism. And
well, and again, I don't know if you haven't read the entire book. But the first 3 steps, knowing that you want the good, right, that you would choose this for yourself and that you would absolutely want it is these fundamental ideas, I think, is what makes us different. You know what I mean? You take an animal that would just like eat another being and let it scream as you're eating it and with just like no remorse, no even thought to it. And again, I'm not saying there aren't some humans or whatever. There's obviously some messed up people. But what I'm saying is that in generally, we have this conscience, this sense of something more. That's what makes us a greater species. And honestly, if it wasn't for our conscience, if we were just sentient without a conscience, there would be no nobility in us. It's our art. It's our desire to help others and love and all of these traits that make humanity wonderful. You know what I mean? Without those, what would we be? So what I'm saying is that's why we're the same. We all kind of have this fundamental humanness. And again, I'm not saying that some people aren't messed up, but if you start from the beginning as a kid,
mine.
Tell me which kid is evil.
Can I just say it? But seriously, you don't have to teach children how to steal toys from each other. You don't have to teach them to throw fits. You don't have to teach them to be selfish. I'm not sure where you see the evidence that we are anything but innately interested in our own self-interest. I mean, you're talking about the outliers that are messed up. The outliers are us. We can relate to those. Well, no, but I mean, don't you find, I guess I should have asked, do you have kids?
I do not have kids.
Okay,
seen them?
Are you in proximity to children?
I have a nephew,
so you've seen them.
And I worked in school systems.
If there's one thing you don't have to teach a child, it's how to be a creep. We're born knowing how to do that.
I'm not saying we're not flawed. I mean, this is the challenge. This isn't heaven, okay? This isn't a perfect reality where you're just made and you're a puppet that walks around like you have no say in how you are. This is a challenge. It's a challenge on many different levels as a human yourself, but also as a society, because we are all born ignorant when we start. If we don't have the correct start, if you literally are not given the proper nutrition and the proper information by the time you're 25, your mind will not be as developed as it could be. Your body will be weak. You will be sickly. So what I'm saying to you is, if we as a human beings have the foundations, I'm not saying every answer is my book to every question you might have, but they will lead you there. It's like, if you have the ability to have a logical mind and reason, and you're able to have the best practices integrated to your life, so your whole life is built around virtues and best practices, you will become a better and better person. And what I found, if you do certain things in the right way at the right times, it will help you. You know what I'm saying? So the primary purpose of life is for you to become your true self, live a true life, and ultimately, if you're a believer, go to heaven. And the ultimate purpose of society is to become the true society. And this idea of living your best life, becoming the best person you can be, going to the ultimate place, creating a better world, this is kind of the fundamental idea of all of humanity. If you look at all the faiths that we have, the success books, everything that we're trying to become as people, it's all about becoming a better person. It's about creating a better world, you know what I mean? Raising better kids. So what I'm saying is there are truths that are so universal and so deep that once you embrace them, it leads you to the other answers. And there are a lot of seriously deep answers in my book, don't get me wrong. But that's where I'm coming from.
So then...
we just got to be on the same page and embrace our diversity and our humanity.
So then let me try to summarize a little bit, because I know we're running a little short on time today. But Andrew, basically, you're explaining that generally the human desires are mostly similar, except for on the fringe, and that generally we all want the same thing, but there are there's corruption in leadership and just life in general that's kind of wrecking some of this. And that's more responsible for what we might say we're divided on than the actual true desires that we have as humans. Is that right, or did I miss that?
I feel like we're doing good versus evil. We have Barb, the evil one, over here.
Well,
and
she's definitely
Andrew's over here being the angel.
Well, I mean, no, this is a question though, because I'm thinking like Barbara's totally playing devil's advocate over there, and I just want to ask you,
No, she's just playing devil.
Andrew.
No, I'm being totally serious.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, I want to say something to Barb if I could. This whole point, I don't know if you are spiritual at all, but it's like, for me, if you look at all of human history, it's been this progression of our ability to create a better and better world. You know what I mean? It's like every revolution that you look at, it's always been to overthrow something. It's like people get crushed and crushed and crushed, and we can't take it anymore. And it's, how do you create a better society? So if you look at our current society, I mean, just look at America in general. It was 3 guys sitting in a bar, decided it was too much, they couldn't take it, started overthrow the hugest regime in the world, and they did it. So this idea, just for them to even think that, is what I'm saying. That's what makes us that spark to make something better. If you want a better life for your kid, the reason your kids are acting out all that, like I said, this is all about the challenge and the structure that our world is set up for us to achieve in. But they're not evil. You want to help them. You're there teaching them. This whole transference is ingraining certain things within us as beings that will help us in our future life. So it's like, this isn't just this life and that's all that matters. This is a training ground preparing us for a much greater reality. And it's meant to be hard. We're hard beings to teach. You know what I mean? It's not an easy thing.
So give us your 60-second push to push us one way or the other, especially Barb over here, since she's grouchy today.
That's all right. No, and I appreciate Barb. Those are obviously the people I want to talk to the most. I think when I've talked to people like Barb before in the bars or wherever it may be, they usually agree that, yes, of course, we all want these things, but the world is so messed up and people are so seemingly like they're ready to go to war all the time. And it's been that way throughout human history. How can you possibly say that we're united and we're all this stuff? And what I'm saying is that, yes, I get that. That's the problem. We have not had a unifying belief and ideas that have led us down the path of unification. It's always these horrible bully leaders that come up and destroy everything for all of us. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally a kings and queens story. If you read history, it's just one horror story after another of men wanting to take over some other dude's stuff or just has something. I mean, it's literally a horror story. So what I'm saying is this is the challenge of humanity, and it's all of us getting on the same page when it comes to certain principles that will allow us to achieve the greater goals that we're all looking for. And all I can say is, hey, if you're a doubter, give me a shot. Read the book. Give me a chance. Check out my videos. I did a whole video on this. Read the whole. Nobody's ever said what I'm saying is wrong. So you listen to everything. It's like, yeah, it may be pie in the sky, but we can't reach pie in the sky unless we actually believe it can be possible. You know what I'm saying? We didn't go to the moon because people were all sitting around going, oh, we can't do it. America wasn't built on negativity. You know what I mean? We got to make this happen, people. And it's like, that's the challenge. And if we don't stand up and do it, nobody's going to do it for us. I'm sorry, I'm done.
I think Barb is going to end up reading your book, and then we're going to have to do a recap of what happens. That way we can really find out, because Barb's really, I think, got some words to say here.
Yeah, maybe the leadership did.
Sure. No, and we got beat in the face. But that's the challenge, right? That's a challenge. It didn't have to be two guys being jerks to each other. It could be, it's like I don't know if you've been an athlete, but the best competition is the one where, everybody's rested, you're at your best, and everybody's ready to compete. You don't want the guy like, oh, I'm sick, man. Oh, great, I beat you. It's like, no, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we called the team the night before
Sure.
and woke them up in the hotel room and stuff. It's like, no, you guys are cheaters and liars and stuff. That's not what humanity's about. So, you know what I mean? I'll just say our noble self is what we need to bring out in humanity, and it will help solve a lot of problems. And the foundations are here.
All right. So, Andrew, if anyone out there wants to get a hold of you, be it listeners, but most importantly, how does Barb get in touch so she can finish this conversation further?
Well, Barb, you have my direct contact information. But I will say this to everybody else. The hub for everything right now is 7wayme. That's the number 7, WAY.me. That's a website, ends with .me. It's like a command, the way of 7 steps, and it's called The Way. So 7wayme now. And you can find me, Andrew Calderella, like Cinderella. I'm the male version. Find me anywhere. I'm on all this different social media. I've been on a lot of podcasts. So go to the website. You'll find everything. You find links everywhere. And we need all the help you can get, or I need all the help I can get. So please visit us and give us
Thank
your
you,
support.
Andrew.
All right, Andrew. We will link all of your socials down below. That way everybody has that, including your cell phone. That way everybody can
He's
get in
kidding.
touch.
I promise. He's kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. No, he signed the legal agreement. What are you talking about?
Three
Stop.
God, I know.
That's what we said, right?
Three
We
times, I know.
can
Like,
blast
wow,
his cell phone
just
out to
sign my rifle
everyone.
Now he
that-
realizes he messed up.
That's okay. I'll just get on your cell phone. I don't care.
He's ready. I love it. Thank you, Andrew. We really appreciate you being on.
Thank you. I really, really do appreciate you having me on your
It's
show.
good
It was an
talking to you,
honor.
Andrew.
Have a good night. Appreciate it. All right, guys. We're going to jump right into the deciding factor. Here we go.
Now it's time for our deciding factor.
All right. Twirl that hair, Alton. Okay, so I'm going to make mine pretty short because I think Barb probably is going to steal the show here. I get his big point, and I see what you're trying to say, Barb. In a big view, I get that everybody kind of has more good than bad initially. I do think we are divided, though, and I think it's more so because of the media and how they have pushed certain agendas. And then on top of that, those agendas have now gotten into the school system, and it is now kind of in our blood. So I think we are divided, and I'm just going to leave it at that because, Barb, I think you have a lot more to say.
I'm going to keep this super concise because honestly, there's too much
on.
wrong with
Don't fail
Okay,
me now.
The thing is, presuppositions matter. And everything that I heard,
Use smaller
smaller-
words for
what
some
you
of
think
us
about
who
the
don't know
world,
what you're
your
saying.
worldview matters,
John.
right? Like his assumption that we all want the same thing, that it means the same thing to us, that I want better for my kids than I had for me, that I get where he's coming from. This is not revolutionary. This has been tried all throughout history, this utopian idea. But the problem is there's no the relativism that has to be built in to this particular worldview. You can't be united because nothing can be actually good, nothing can be actually bad. To say that we start out neutral and that it's all what we learn is not only, disproven just by observing human beings, it's disproven throughout human history. I feel like if there was one takeaway that I would want listeners to get from this, go study history. There's a reason this has never worked, okay? Stalin was not an outlier. Stalin was more effectively doing what basically all of us have in us to do. That we aren't all like Stalin is the mercy of God. Because if you look at it, his idea was that if we were all united, right? Like, we're going to feed each other. No one is above anyone else. I mean, he's kind of, without saying the word communist, he's describing a communist ideology. I think that, I think we are actually divided, and I'm going to take it further and say, and we should be. If we are not divided, we're not using our brains. So there was a lot I could have taken issue with what he said, but I want to hear Alton. So.
This is interesting, guys. So I have like 1 minute left to do my deciding factor, and I'm going to go over. So there. I'm going to have to agree with Andrew. And let me try to elaborate. Like, do I think that there is a white person who is racist towards a black person and would like take action? Yes. Like, we definitely have those divisions. I would agree with. I didn't really hear the communism thing, but now that you said that, Barbara, I think that it makes sense to me. I guess what I'm kind of like falling back on is that I've had these experiences in life that kind of transcend so many things, colors and sexual orientation and like fill in the blank. I mean, like, you go to jiu-jitsu, man, it just doesn't matter. Like, nobody even knows what your politics are and all of these things. Fishing, people fish all over the world. Like, we don't care who your mom is or dad or whatever. Like, there's these things that bring humans together. I believe that God created humans in his image. And so we all have that piece of us inside. And so because I believe that God created humans, I believe that there is a core thing that reflects God's image, and that is what brings us together. And I think that, I don't know where Tony Robbins stands on like religion wise. I think he usually tries to like be pretty ambiguous, but he lists 6 needs. 4 of them he calls like, like basic, which is certainty. And then we need a little bit of variety, significance, and connection and love. And I think like if we're looking at those types of things, I think that all humans need that. And so in that way, I think we're all unified. But I still think that we have the consequences of sin and terrible things in our world, and that's what divides us, but not the core, like, God piece. And I feel like I'm just flubbing this whole thing up. But yeah, so I mean, I certainly agree that we're all humans, and I believe that love is that thing that we all desire and need. And I think that need is there because of who our creator is and who we were designed in the likeness of. And it's when that gets broken and traumatized and screwed up that we have these symptoms of like humans trying to do stupid things.
All right. Well, there you go. We are divided. But
are we?
Now.
Yeah.
I think Barb's out there. She's off the edge today. So, guys, this is your turn to see if you are divided amongst us. Make sure you check out our website. We want to hear your comments. Also, you can hit us up on social media. And Barb, here's my offer to you.
Oh, I thought you were going to give everyone your cell phone.
Nope. No, not that. You read his book and I'll read your book. And then you can get back to us and tell us.
Yeah, that is a good deal. I'll take it.
Who's going to teach John how to read?
I think you're closer.
Okay.
After church. All right, guys. Y'all stay tuned to the next episode of the Deciding Factor podcast. We are going to go make another one. So stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Everyone, say bye.
Bye.
Later.
I was going to say, that's kind of funny. And next time, we're doing it again. Yeah.
This has been another episode of The Deciding Factor, giving you food for thought on real-life issues. Be sure to click, like, and subscribe to this podcast. as well as all your big social media outlets, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Don't forget to check out our website at thedecidingfactorpodcast.com and give us comments and feedback. Until next time, stay safe and remember to keep an open mind.